Okay, wonderful. So let's begin. Mute everyone. Yes. Share the screen. Okay. Okay, let's start. Sridham, if you could begin with the invocation prayers.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Urdhva Moolam Adasakham. Ashvatam Prahuravyayam. Chandam Si Yasya Parnani. Yastam Veda Sabeda Ved.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "It is said that there is an imperishable banyan tree that has its roots upwards and its branches down, and whose leaves are the Vedic hymns. One who knows this tree is the knower of the Vedas."
Adas Korbam Prashitastasya Saka Gunada Vishaya Pravalaha Adas Chamulani Anushantani Karmanubandini Manushya Loke.
The branches of this tree extend downward and upwards, nourished by the three modes of material nature. The twigs are the objects of the senses. This tree also has roots going down, and these are bound to the fruits of actions of human society.
Narupam Masyeha Tatopalabhyate Nanto Nachade Nacha Sampratishta Ashvatamenam Suvirudamulam Ashanga Shastrena Didena Chitva Yata Padam Tat Parimargrityam Yashmin Gatana Nivartanti Bhuyaha Tameva Chadyam Purusham Prapadye Yata Pravritti Prasita Purani.
The real form of this tree cannot be perceived in this world. No one can understand where it ends, where it begins, or where its foundation is. But with determination, one must cut down the strongly rooted tree with the weapon of detachment. Thereafter, one must seek the place from which, having gone, one never returns, and there surrenders to that Supreme Personality, from whom everything began and from whom everything is extended since time immemorial.
Nirmana Moha Jita Sangha Dosha Adhyatma Nitya Vinivrita Kamaha Dandver Vimukta Sukha Dukkha Samner Gachanti Yamuda Padam Avyayam Tat.
Those who are free from false prestige, illusion, and false association, who understand the eternal, who are done with material lust, who are freed from the dualities of happiness and distress, and who, unbewildered, know how to surrender unto the Supreme Person, attain to that eternal kingdom.
Na tadvasyate suryo na shashanko na pavakaha yadgatva na nivartante taddhama paramam mama.
That supreme abode of mine is not illumined by the sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world.
Mamaivam so jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana vinashastan indriyani prakriti stani karshati.
The living entities in this confidential world are my eternal fragmental parts. Conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind.
Sariram yat avapnoti yat chapi okramatishvara girtvetani samyati vayur gandan ivashayat.
The living entity in the material world carries his different conceptions of life from one body to another, as the air carries aromas. Thus he takes one kind of body and again quits it to take another.
Shotram shakshup sparshanam cha rashanam grahanam eva cha adaya manaschayam vishayan upasevate.
The living entity, thus taking another gross body, attains a certain type of ear, tongue, eye, tongue, nose, and sense of touch, which are grouped about the mind. He thus enjoys a particular set of sense objects.
Shotram Chakshursparshanam cha Rashanam Grahanameva cha Adhisthayam.
You just did that text, Shida.
Uptramantam sitam vapi Bunjanam Vagunanvitam Himudana Pashyanti Jnana Chakshusaha.
The foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of the modes of nature. But one whose eyes are trained in knowledge can see all this.
Nitanto yoginas jainam Pashyanti atmani avashtitam Yatantopi akritatmano Nenam Pashyanti achetasaha.
The endeavoring transcendentalists who are situated in self-realization can see all this clearly. But those whose minds are not developed and who are not situated in self-realization cannot see what is taking place, though they may try.
Nityagatam tejo jagad basayate khilam yat chandramsi yat jagno tat tejo vidimamakam.
The splendor of the sun, which dissipates the darkness of this whole world, comes from me, and the splendor of the moon and the splendor of fire are also from me.
Ghama vishya cha bhutani dharayami amojasaha pushnami chodasti sarva soma bhutparashatmakaha.
I enter into each planet, and by my energy they stay in orbit. I become the moon and thereby supply the juice of life to all vegetables.
Aham Veshvanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashitaha Pranapana Samyukta Pachyamiyanam Chaturvidam.
I am the fire of digestion in the bodies of all living entities, and I join with the air of life, outgoing and incoming, to digest the 4 kinds of foodstuffs.
Aham Veshvanaro Bhutva Praninam Dehamashitaha Pranapana Samayuktaha Pachyamiyanam Chaturvidam.
I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance and forgetfulness.
Sarvasya chaham ridisani Sarvasya chaham ridisani vishto Mata smritirgyanamapohanam cha Vedescha sarver hameva vedyo Vedanta krid vedavid eva chaham.
I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. By all the Vedas I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas.
Dvavimo purusho loke shara shakshara eva cha shara sarvani bhutane kutasto shara uchyate.
There are 2 classes of beings, the fallible and the infallible. In the material world, every living entity is fallible, and in the spiritual world, every living entity is called infallible.
Utama purushasta anya paramatmeti udaditaha yo lokatayam avishya vibharti avyaya ishvaraha.
Besides these 2, there is a greatest living personality, the Supreme Soul, the imperishable Lord himself, who has entered the 3 worlds and is maintaining them.
Yashmat sharamati toham aksharad apichotamaha atoshmi loke vedecha pratita purushottamaha.
Because I am transcendental, beyond both the fallible and the infallible, and because I am the greatest, I am celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas as that Supreme Person.
Yomam evam samudo janati purushottamam sa sarva vidbhajati mam sarva bhavena bharata.
Whoever knows me as the Supreme Personality of Godhead without doubting is a knower of everything. He therefore engages himself in full devotional service to me, O son of Bharata.
Iti goyat mamam shastram idam uktam mayangaha etad buddha buddhiman syat krita krityasya bharata.
This is the most confidential part of the Vedic scriptures, O sinless one, and it is disclosed now by me. Whoever understands this will become wise, and his endeavors will know perfection.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Sridham and Yash, for joining us in this chat program this evening. I just want to check with devotees on the other side to see if your connection is, if you're, were you able to hear the message or the voice clearly? Was it audible or there were some problems? Because I'm having some connection issues.
Yes,
It was
Prabhuji,
pretty
audible.
clear.
Yeah?
Clear.
Okay, great. All right, fine.
Good.
If you do experience any issues, then do let me know. Then I can try to change the device. But I did try to check everything, but for some reason, sometimes it comes up as a warning that the connection is not that great, although it seems to be fine. Okay.
Okay, so I will now share my screen with all of you so we can read the text from today, which is text 9. By mistake, I think I said text 8 in the group. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shrotam Chakshus Parshnam Cha Rashanam Grahanam Evacha Adhisthaya Manaschayam Vishayan Upasvate. Translation: the living entity, thus taking another gross body, obtains a certain type of ear, eye, tongue, nose, and senses of touch, which are grouped about the mind. He thus enjoys a particular set of sense objects. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In other words, if the living entity adulterates his consciousness with the qualities of cats and dogs, in his next life, he gets a cat or a dog body and enjoys. Consciousness is originally pure like water, but if we mix water with a certain color, it changes. Similarly, the consciousness is pure, for the spirit soul is pure, but consciousness is changed according to the association of material qualities. Real consciousness is Krishna consciousness. When therefore one is situated in Krishna consciousness, he is in his pure life. But if his consciousness is adulterated by some type of material mentality, in the next life he gets a corresponding body. He does not necessarily get a human body again. He can get the body of a cat, dog, hawk, demigod, or one of many other forms, for there are 8,400,000 species. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubheva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. So once again, welcome to all the chat members, and especially to those who have joined us for the first time or new to this Sangha. So here we recite one chapter of Bhagavad Gita every day, and then we discuss one shloka beginning from the start of the chapter. So today, now we are on the text 9 because we discussed text 8 yesterday. So just before we begin today's session, I thought let's look at the link between the previous verse and this verse. So the quality of the mind was explained in the previous verse, and now how it is explained how a certain kind of gross body or a certain kind of consciousness attracts our next gross body according to our mind and our desires. How similarly, like here an example is given, like a magnet attracts an iron nail. So there is obviously, when you keep the magnet in a close proximity to the nails, because in the nature they are of similar quality, they attract each other. So that is how our mind, which is due to our senses, creates a certain desires in our mind. And when we fulfill those desires, then our gross body and our subtle body, well, actually it's our subtle body, which with the help of the mind attracts the next gross body, and we get another body. So, and the theme for this particular verse is, again, we are in the second section where we are discussing transmigration. And in this particular verse, it is explained that thus carried by the mind, a living entity enters the various bodies to obtain different senses for the goal of sense enjoyment. So like the verse says, we get a different set of nose, eyes, ears, which are common in the most living entities actually. And you will see that how in the human also we have these different sense organs through which we enjoy different senses. And unfortunately, we engage them for our own sense gratification and try to take up to various nonsensical activities by implicating our self further into this material world, and really taking a body which is not suitable. Um, and then actually, I just want to think, there is a beautiful verse which I had not planned to speak, but here, because we are on this point about enjoying our senses and these activities, there is a wonderful verse which comes in the 5th canto, same place where Rishabhadev is instructing his sons, which is Nunam Pramata Kurute Vikrama Yad Indriya Prit Aya Apranoti Nasadu Manne Yata Atmanoyam Asan Api Kleshada Ashadeha. So the translation is as follows: when a person considers sense gratification the aim of life, he certainly becomes mad after materialistic living and engages in all kinds of sinful activity. He does not know that due to his past misdeeds, he has already received a body which, although temporary, is the cause of his misery. Actually, the living entity should not have taken on a material body, but he has been awarded the material body for sense gratification. Therefore, I think it is not befitting an intelligent man to involve himself again in the activities of sense gratification by which he perpetually gets material bodies one after another. So, here we see Rishabhadev, who's none other than an incarnation of Lord Krishna, is instructing his 100 sons, and he is explaining them the futility of this material body. That in the first instance, he's making it clear that one shouldn't have really gotten this material body, but now that we have got it, an intelligent person should not engage it for just for the sole object of sense gratification. So one should try, as we read in the verse yesterday, Tapo Divyam Putrakena Yena Sattvam Vishuddhayet Yasmat Shuddhayet Yasmat Brahma Sakhyam Tav Anantam. That one should engage in the tapa and austerity, in the penance and austerity, and by such position or by such engagement, one attains a very purified state of consciousness, a very elevated position where one's mind is completely enlivened, and he is able to then lead a very blissful, spiritual, and a life which is actually above the material happiness, but it is the spiritual happiness which is everlasting. That's why this process is termed in Bhagavad Gita by the Lord Susukham. It is the most joyful process of all the processes of practicing, yoga, this bhakti yoga process. So here we see that this is the configuration of our body. There are 3 levels of our body. The first level is our actual gross body, which is made up of the 5 gross elements, which everybody is aware of: earth, water, air, fire, ether. And then above that material body is the subtle body, which is made up of ego, or rather false ego, intelligence, and mind. And then finally inside there is a spiritual element, us, in 2 parts. One is the super soul and the soul. And in the human form of life, as Sutta Goswami explains to all the sages in Naimisharanya right at the beginning, that your questions are very correct. They are very, very apt for this occasion, because they wanted to ask how to progress in spiritual life. So Sutta Goswami congratulates them for asking such wonderful questions, which are not only beneficial for them, but for actually it's beneficial for everybody. So that's why if we ask questions like that, then we have a chances to purify or spiritualize our body and senses even while we are living in this material world. And Prabhupada gives this analogy in the purport, where he speaks about the original consciousness is pure like water, and spirit soul is originally pure, and consciousness is changed according to the association of the material qualities. So you see, when you dissolve a particular color in the water, and you keep carry on dissolving it, you get many permutations and reactions of that process of dissolving the water with different colors. And as you do it, after a certain time, you will change that the color of the water is completely changed. So similarly, our soul is currently completely, actually it's always pure. It is in the jurisdiction, or rather it's been conditioned because of the material body and the senses and our tendency to enjoy. So the soul is encaged in that conditioning. Whereas the natural process or the natural way of the soul is to have a life which is full of ananda, full of bliss actually. But because we are currently conditioned because of the 3 modes of material nature, our consciousness is also now polluted. And Srila Prabhupada is explaining this through very nicely by giving this beautiful analogy in the form of water mixed with the colors. So what is our nature? The spirit soul can be happy only in the association of the supreme living being, the personality of Godhead, and nowhere else. That is our real destination. If we are looking to be eternally happy and joyful, we are not going to get that joy by opening, as people say, or as devotees say, in opening the bottle of Coca-Cola. You will see as you walk out of the airport, you see these ads about Coca-Cola, and as you walk through the duty free, you see many kinds of people putting those liquors right there, and the most expensive liquors of all the liquors. And the little jiva, as he's walking through these duty free, he thinks that if I can just grab a bottle from here, it's duty free. First of all, he's in illusion thinking it is much less here, but he buys it thinking it's going to give me happiness. Like how the bottle of Coca-Cola one opens and he says, oh, this is going to give me real happiness. But unfortunately, both at a physical level and spiritual level, it is causing a damage to his consciousness. At a physical level, when you put that Coca-Cola bottle in your body, there are a lot of reaction which takes place. Each cell of your body is shouting, don't put it in, don't put it in, don't put it in. And the jiva is keep drinking it, thinking I'm going to be happy. And for that momentarily so-called happiness, the jiva goes on drinking various things or eating various palatable dishes which are not conducive for his physical and spiritual life. Like we had a very good experience last year when we were in Kartik in Govardhan. We were traveling from Vrindavan every day to go to Govardhan to take association of my spiritual master. And then we realized that there every day the brahmacharis and Guru Maharaj and His Holiness Keshav Bharati Maharaj, all they were eating was khichdi. And we can experience that to some degree now in the month of Purushottam, where we are trying to eat simple prasadam. That what happens is that when you, first of all, it is a very light sattvic food cooked by the devotees, offered to the Lord in devotion. You see, and if you eat that every day, day in out, because you're trying to focus on spiritual practice, you will notice a subtle change in your consciousness. You will no longer hanker for eating fried or pungent food which is in mode of passion. You will naturally be inclined to eat food which is full of sattva gun. So naturally, you see, as jiva, when we get this opportunity to enjoy the real taste of prasadam and get an opportunity to eat Krishna prasadam and associate with the devotees, we develop a certain mindset and certain consciousness which is very conducive to spiritual life. So it is very important that we keep this in mind in order to keep our consciousness in check. Otherwise, what happens is, in the minds of those who are too attached to sense enjoyment and material opulence and who are bewildered by such things, the resolute determination of devotional service to the Supreme Lord does not take place. Lord Krishna is saying in the Bhagavad Gita 2.44 clearly that what happens when we are too much attached to the material enjoyment, that one pointed determination for progressing in devotional service, or walking or treading the path of spiritual life towards our ultimate aim to reach Golok Vrindavan Dham, that determination will not take place. Because we will be constantly thinking, you know what, I'm quite happy here in this material world. I've got an iMac to myself. I've got an iPhone 11 Pro, 12 Pro, 14 Pro, whatever it is. I've got a nice Tesla standing outside my home right now, and the life is great, you know, and I'm just in the best of the best place, and flying, you know, business class, and it's great, you know. The world is a very bad place, but I've got enough money and I'm in a very good place. Our acharyas and the Shastra says that actually that's the most dangerous position. The moment the living entity thinks that I'm comfortable in this world, it's the beginning of his fall down, actually, because the misery is only one step away from that position where one is starting to experience some so-called happiness. And you will all probably agree with me on this, because that's the nature of this material world. Just imagine, let's just take things in perspective right now. Only until 15th of March, things were looking great. Of course, the virus originated in China, but the world of United Kingdom was flourishing like anything until the 10th, 11th, 12th of March, where there was some news coming, trickling little bit. Okay, this is happening. One case was found in Spain and Italy, and there's, oh no, we are fine. We're getting on with our world. And the next moment, 25th of March, 30th of March, 15th of April, the whole world of England starting to go into the lockdown. All of a sudden, you know, you can't meet another person, you can't talk to them, you can't meet them, you can't have those sweet exchanges anymore. You're not happy anymore driving your Tesla because you can't drive anywhere. The Tesla is standing outside, or the Mercedes Benz is standing outside in the driveway. So just think it from that perspective. How much can we enjoy the material world? Because the moment we start to enjoy, the Maya pulls up the carpet under our floor and gives us the real flavor of Coca-Cola, or the real flavor of that, you know, what we are trying to enjoy in the material life, actually. So now we see here in the third canto, Kapila Dev is trying to tell us his mother, and through his mother, he's also trying to teach us. He's saying, when the soul is under the spell of material nature and the false ego, identifying his body as the self, he becomes absorbed in material activities. And by the influence of false ego, he thinks that he's the proprietor of everything. That is what the things, and in the Bhagavad Gita also, there is a very famous verse which talks about this, that one thinks that I'm the doer. It is Prakrite Kriya Manani Guna Karmani Sarvasha Ahankara Vimudhatma Kartaham iti manyate. That the living entity thinks that he's the performer of all the activities which he's doing, but actually he's in illusion, because he thinks himself to be the doer, but in actuality, those activities are carried out by the three modes of material nature. So when we are in mode of illusion, we feel like sleeping, we feel like crying. Those are the symptoms of the mode of ignorance. When we are in mode of passion, we are so much intensely desiring to get somewhere, to achieve something, to do something, and to have the world in my like fist, as we say. That's mode of passion. Mode of goodness is said to be illuminating. We are looking for knowledge. We haven't reached to that pure knowledge, but we are looking for knowledge. We are getting up early in the morning, we are performing some kind of meditation. So that's illuminating. In that there is some clarity where one can have some access to the spiritual knowledge. So this is what Kapila Dev is trying to say, that under this false, because of the modes of material nature and false ego, we are identifying ourselves, as Prabhupada calls it, I'm an Englishman, I'm an American, I'm this, I'm that. So this perpetual raga is going on with the living entity. But Kapila Dev also, in the previous verse to this, he gives a very important point. He says, Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Prakriti Stopi Purusho Najyate Prakritir Guna Avikarad Akartavan Nigunvataj Jalakravat. He's saying the personality of Godhead, Kapila Dev is saying, when the living entity is thus unaffected by the modes of material nature, because he's unchanging. What is he referring? The soul, and does not claim proprietorship. I don't claim this is me, this is for me, and this is for my enjoyment. He remains apart from the reactions of the modes, although abiding in a material body, just as the sun remains aloof from its reflection on the water. You see, the sun gives the reflection, but it has nothing to do with the reflection on the water. Like Prabhupada gives this another analogy. He says, although the sun is reflecting on the plants and giving the energy, giving us grains through that sunlight, and the same sun is also reflecting on the stool, but the sun doesn't get contaminated by reflecting onto the stool, because the stool is such a bad decontaminating thing. The sun is completely aloof. So similarly here, the beautiful analogy is giving that the living entity is not affected when he's not in the case of like when he's not affected by the modes of material nature, when he's not claiming the proprietorship over the other living entities. So these are some very important points for us to understand. The moment we start to think, okay, there is a supreme Lord and my duty is to surrender to him to some degree or the other, that's the beginning of our happiness, ladies and gentlemen, and that's something to keep in mind always. So the conclusion part of this verse is that how the real consciousness comes into play is explained here, that if adulterated with qualities of cats or dogs, etc., one can get any of the 8.4 million species. So Krishna is trying to tell us, don't worry, if you still want to enjoy, there is no dearth of various material bodies one can have in order to enjoy this material world. One can carry on enjoying this material world to their best capacity, to their best ability. Prabhupada gives that example, that if we as a human being want to spoil our life in sense gratification, in sex life, he gives a very good example that, there are animals who can enjoy this senses in a much longer way. He talks about, if a jiva is attached to a sex life, he could be given a life of pigeon where the pigeon can carry on having and enjoying in this way for much longer. Similarly, if you like sleeping, then the material nature can give us a body of the boar, and we can be sleeping for 3 or 4 months of the year. We have an example from Ramayana, how Kumbhakaran, who was none other than Jai and Vijay, they were brother together, who was the brother of Ravana. He used to sleep 6 months of the year. And then he used to get up, and how does he used to wake up? They has to take elephant next to his ears and make the elephant to take out the big noise so he can just be waken up. Otherwise, it was very difficult to wake him up. And before they could wake him up, they had to make sure that he had tons and tons and tons of food ready for him. Otherwise, he would get upset when he wakes up, because he will be so hungry when he get up. Does that ring a bell? It rings a bell for me when I'm hungry, when or when I'm resting, if I don't get prasadam, I get upset. So similarly, we can see even in the human form of life, the Lord, through the agency of the material nature, can arrange us and give us various material bodies to enjoy. However, now we see again the teachings of Rishabhadev. I just find this whole canto be so enlivening. Although, yes, we are reading here and I keep bringing the point, but each verse of this part of the teachings of Rishabhadev is so important. I'm very bad at learning verses, but somehow with some good association in Bhakti Vaibhav of devotees who has some taste for verses like Mukunda Hari Prabhu and many others, I'm trying my best also to learn some verses of Bhagavatam. It's very nice, when you have a chance to read the verses. um, carry this small book called Bhagavad Ratnamala with you, and whenever you have an opportunity for somebody like me who really struggles to memorize them, just keep reading one line at a time for some time, and it'll start to come to you. So here it is mentioned that as long as one does not inquire about the spiritual values of life, one is defeated and subjected to the miseries arising from ignorance, be it sinful or pious. Karma has its resultant actions. If a person is engaged in any kind of karma, his mind is called karmatmaka, colored with fruitive activity. You remember, colored with the water? So colored with the fruitive activity. As long as the mind is impure, consciousness is unclear. And as long as one is absorbed in fruitive activity, he has to accept a material body. I was reading this verse and I was thinking that every time I desire something material, it is quite obvious that I'm trying to create another, or preparing for another material body, which I have to take on because of that intense desire I'm having in my mind to enjoy a certain thing. So one has to be very careful in terms of what we desire. And that's the whole idea when we are in the association of devotees and chanting the holy name. It's very important that we take this process very seriously. And let's see what Prabhupada is telling us in that regard of taking it seriously. He's saying the purpose of this Krishna consciousness movement is to awaken man's original consciousness. At the present moment, our consciousness is designated. Someone is thinking, I am an Englishman, and another one is thinking, I'm an American. Actually, we do not belong to any of these designations. We are all part and parcel of God. That is our real identity. If everyone simply comes to that consciousness, all the problems of the world will be solved. You see, the real problem of the world, as His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj says, is not hunger. It's not uh, a lack of water or resources. The real problem of the heart is the pollution of the heart. The pollution of our heart, which is there. But the same lust, if we can use it in serving the others, especially the Vaishnavas, that lust will change into love. If we are envious of somebody, somehow or other understanding that that person is also part and parcel of Supreme Personality of Godhead and is very special, because even in his heart there is Paramatma residing there, and I must appreciate that Jiva because he deserves to be appreciated as being part and parcel of the Lord. Then similarly, that envy will change into friendship. That envy will bring us to the platform of becoming humble, realizing that everybody is trying to serve the Lord to their best capacity. So it'll help us to transcend the platform from becoming envy to become friend with other living entities. And like that, then all the problems of the world will be solved. So now we need to make sure somehow or other we make a journey from material to pure consciousness. We are currently in the state, at least I can speak for myself, I'm in the state of material consciousness. Now we need to transcend to the plane, or fly our plane, as Prabhupada says, and take to the pure consciousness process. And Prabhupada writes here, he says in a letter to Vishala in West Virginia on 16th of June in 1969, he's saying Krishna instructs Arjuna that Mahatma, the pure devotee, is he who has fully surrendered himself onto the spiritual nature. So this is the process of transcending from material consciousness to pure consciousness. And how can we tell if one is completely surrendered onto the spiritual nature? He's always fully engaged in devotional service to Krishna. So this is the process of becoming a pure devotee. We have to engage all our words, thoughts, and activities in Krishna consciousness under the direction of the spiritual master. Therefore, at every moment, you should be busy in some way in serving Krishna and his pure devotees. And automatically, you will become purified in Krishna consciousness. Krishna is always willing to shower his mercy upon his devotees. So we have simply to become receptive to this mercy by devotional service, and then the path is very, very easy. So what do we need to do? We need to, Prabhupada is giving us this formula that at every moment you should be busy in some way in serving Krishna and his pure devotees, and automatically you will become purified in Krishna consciousness. Krishna is always willing to shower his mercy upon his devotees. So we have simply to become receptive to this mercy by devotional service, then the path is very easy. So the path has been given to us by our acharyas. We need to just follow. We need to become anugatya. We need to follow in the path of these devotees who are already treading and have gone back to the spiritual world, or those who are actually in the process of going to the spiritual world. In Nectar of Instruction, Rupa Goswami gives another addition to this aspect of a pure devotee. He says, a pure devotee is always thinking that how can I expand this Krishna consciousness movement? That's on his mind all the time. If you think of the example of all the various of Srila Prabhupada, his own life, he was constantly meditating on the instruction of his spiritual master that how can I take this knowledge to the West and distribute. And Prabhupada says in a lecture that if you cannot do it immediately, he says, I used to think, how can I do, 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 how can I do? That was the meditation of Srila Prabhupada all his life in Grahastha ashram, after receiving the instruction of his spiritual master Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur so many times. So it's a very good learning for us to apply in our own life. Next time a spiritual master gives us an instruction or we hear his lecture, he's telling us something. But we know because of our conditioning, we can't do it right now. But at least we can cry that we can't do right now. We can pray to spiritual master that I do not have this capacity right now because I'm still conditioned. But please empower me, my dear Gurudev. Please empower me that one day I'll be able to accomplish this task which you have somehow or other as a privilege given to me this as a service. And keep saying, how can I do? How can I do? How can I do? I was hearing a lecture of my spiritual master. He's saying the best question one can ask another person in the community of the devotee is, how can I be of service? So next time when we meet each other, that's the beautiful question we should ask ourselves. And I was really thinking about this actually today, that how can I be of service to you, my dear friend? How can I be service to you, devotees? That should be the first question in our mind in order to make spiritual progress. So that brings me to the conclusion of our today's session. Like Srila Prabhupada's mercy, right on time. It's 8:31. And we are ending on this point that how can we make our life thinking that, what is it that I can do to make my life so spiritually potent? And always ask this question to myself. And when you ask this question, how can I serve? Service will come in such a way that you cannot even imagine. We just need to be then ready to take that service and execute it. So on that note, I would like to make a couple of announcements with all of you. The announcement number one is that today we have a bhajan. We will be singing this Chora Astakam. Divya Gaurangi Mataji, who's dialing in all the way from Qatar. She's there, she's reached there safely. And so she is still awake, although the time there is probably around 10:30 or 11 o'clock. She only reached there a couple of days. So she's so excited that she still wants to do this bhajan. That was the first announcement. So Mataji will sing the bhajan and we will repeat with her behind the muted mics. The second announcement to all of you, and it's my humble request to all of you, all of you have dedicated your life to Srila Prabhupada. You're doing such a wonderful service. I now want to beg all of you that let's take this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and reach out to many, many souls across UK, at least to begin with. So tomorrow we have a call with His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu at 3:30 where he will be telling us a little bit about this global campaign, which is ISKCON is starting worldwide to distribute 2 million Bhagavad Gitas in the next 3 months, starting from now all the way to the end of Srila Prabhupada Marathon, which will end at the Christmas Day here in UK, or probably end of December. So I want to request you all, at least in this month, it is explained in the month of Purushottam, it's the best month to perform any charity. And the best charity we have learned from our acharyas and Srila Prabhupada is to try to distribute this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, or the knowledge of spiritual knowledge, to others. So I'm going to put a simple, very simple goal to all of you, and you let me know through your comments in the chat box that I think it is reasonable what we have come up with. All we are going to ask you to at least try to distribute or even sponsor 15 Bhagavad Gitas in this month. Why 15? Because we are reciting the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and the least we can do is distribute the 15 Bhagavad Gitas to our friends and family, to teachers, to schools, to wherever you can. And if you don't have friends, you tell us, and we will place those Bhagavad Gitas on your behalf in prisons, in hospitals, in many places you can even imagine, actually. And we already have institutions, especially for Bhagavad Gita, because it's one book, it can easily be sent to many, many places. So tomorrow or by Monday or Tuesday, we will have a link where you can go and select the different, we have 4 different packages. We will share a flyer with all of you tomorrow evening. Vrindavan Chand Prabhu will bring it live with all of you more in detail, this program, hopefully by tomorrow evening. So I beg all of you to somehow try and help us to take this Bhagavad Gita to as many people, especially in this month of Purushottam and Kartik, so we can benefit the world and perform the best charity we can from our own hands, actually, for the pleasure of the Lord. So those were my 2 announcements. There is mic is, or someone's mic is actually muted. I'm going to unmute it. Sorry, I'm going to mute everybody. So those were my couple of announcements. And now I would like to hear from you if you have any comments, questions, or reflections for this session, which we had this evening. And please let me know, how do you think about the 15 books is not at all. Even if you did 1 book a day, you still have at least another 21 days for the month of Purushottam to finish. 1 Bhagavad Gita day is not at all difficult. To call a friend and ask, hey Amit, how are you doing? Have you got Bhagavad Gita? Oh no, I have some Bhagavad Gita, but do you have the as it is edition of Bhagavad Gita? Oh, you don't? Let me send you one, because this is the best edition. It has transformed the entire world. And I'm attending a chat session every day. We are reading Bhagavad Gita. Why don't you join that Bhagavad Gita? So not only you're giving him a book, you're inviting him to join a session with you, actually. So 1 call a day, anybody can take it. If somebody tells me, Prabhu, Divyanam Prabhu, you're always talking, give out, I don't have a time. That'll take your 5 minutes of a time. That's all in a day. And if you give your 5 minutes, Prabhupada will be so pleased. Lord Purushottam will be so pleased in this month, actually. So that's my humble request to all of you. Let me know what you think about this, a small goal of distributing 15 Bhagavad Gitas, or any other comments or questions you may have. Any messages or any comments or reflections from the session?
Thank you, Prabhuji, for wonderful class. Please accept my humble obeisances of Srila Prabhupada and your wonderful service, Prabhu. You're
Hare
really
Krishna.
inspiring, preaching every day. Whenever you just say something, it's always we're taking something. Some notes are always in heart when we're in the faith. I just have and also I agree with the 15 Bhagavad Gita as it is. I think that's one of the very best idea for Purushottam month, to do some good prosperity for Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhu, for suggesting.
Thank you, Sangeeta.
Yes. Thank you.
I just feel this is my honest feeling.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sangeeta Mataji, could you say what you said? I could not hear because my connection, I think I'm having some problems.
Yeah, I know. No,
Towards,
I say
towards the end.
Yeah, you say like a 15 Bhagavad Gita as it is. It's a wonderful idea for Purushottam month to distribute and donate, because I think we will more get spiritually advanced by doing this beautiful, wonderful service for others. And obviously, like a stage of Kali, we all require more mercy from Krishna and Srila Prabhupada to be steady with our Krishna consciousness. Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you very
Yes,
much.
at least. Yeah. Yes, Mataji. So what I was saying is, I feel that all of you who are attending or reading Bhagavad Gita every day, you are the best members to distribute this knowledge, because in order to distribute to somebody, you need to have an appreciation for something in your life. And I'm sure, hearing all of your comments, I can see that the reason you tune in every evening to read Bhagavad Gita together is because you already have such appreciation for Bhagavad Gita. So you are naturally the recipients, not by me, by chosen by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to help expand this Sankirtan movement actually. And 15 books is not difficult. And my main request is that many people have, they will say, I have Bhagavad Gita. So please humbly ask them, who's written or who's compiled that Bhagavad Gita, which edition is it? Because majority of the edition, in fact all of them, are actually mostly personally motivated interpretations, but Srila Prabhupada has given his word as it is, and his purports are so divine and so commonsensical that anybody who reads them even one verse a day, their life will begin to change for good, for eternity actually. So thank you, Mataji. Paresh Prabhu is reflecting, saying, Prabhuji, a good example of duty free, very good realization. Prabhu, yeah, that was a thought which came to my mind because we all travel and we see what happens in the duty free. So that's how we as a Jiva get attracted to all these allurements which are there, to attract us. Any other comments? You need to help me out here because, otherwise I feel that what I've spoken is probably the 15 books is either too much or probably it didn't really reflect something back, so we can have some. Hima Mataji saying it's a great idea. 15 is not at all a hard number to achieve. Thank you, Hima Mataji. That is very encouraging because we were thinking many numbers, big numbers, small numbers, and everybody felt, let's go with small numbers. Anybody can do distribute 15 Bhagavad Gitas actually. And you can order your 15 Bhagavad Gitas in one go and give it out at your own pace. The price we have is 65 pounds for 15 Bhagavad Gita, which is almost very close to the cost price. And if you want it delivered at your home doorstep, we can arrange it and it will be only 75 pounds, including delivery. And the best thing you can do by keeping the 15 Bhagavad Gitas in your home, your friend comes to your home or you go to somebody's house, you give them Bhagavad Gita. Narendra Modi once said, a reporter asked him that, why are you giving Bhagavad Gita to the minister of Japan when he went there? He said, the world has nothing better to receive and I have nothing better to give. So the best thing to give and the best thing to receive is Bhagavad Gita. And he was giving as it is edition. It was confirmed because His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj from Delhi is in very good terms with Narendra Modi ji. So at least we have made sure that Narendra Modi ji is distributing the Bhagavad Gita as it is, because he's now very favorable with ISKCON actually. Sandeep Prabhu is saying, I'm in for distributing 15 Bhagavad Gitas. Thank you, Sandeep Prabhu, for your encouragement. You will get more details. Hopefully in the next couple of days, I'll request, depending on when it is ready, I'll request either Mukunda Hari Prabhu or Vrindavan Chand Prabhu to share those details with all of you. So you can just click a link, make the donation of Shastra Dan in this most auspicious month as a charity. And if you want the books, they can come to you. If not, if you like us to place it for you, we can place it on your behalf as well. So thank you, Sandeep Prabhu. Any other comments or questions from today's sessions or reflection? We've got few minutes before we move on to our Ashtakam today. Garta Mataji is also in for the idea. She's saying, please share the details. So I wanted to build some excitement. So the details will come, as I said, from either Vrindavan Chand Prabhu or Mukunda Hari Prabhu in the next few days. Bhagwati Mataji saying, wonderful idea to give out Bhagavad Gitas. Santosh Mataji saying, if anyone wishes to share the Lakshmi to sponsor the 15 Gitas, is that okay? Yes, that is okay, Mataji. Any Lakshmi you can share among yourself and put together for the 15 Bhagavad Gitas. Not a problem at all. Puja Mataji is saying, I'm also in for it. Thank you so much, Puja Mataji. Srila Prabhupada will be so pleased with your service. It's very, very encouraging. I'm not writing all of your names, so I'm not holding you here on a gunpoint. When the details come, feel free to join the campaign and help Srila Prabhupada in expanding this Bhagavad Gita to as many people as possible. That's very encouraging, Puja Mataji. Thank you very much. I know Madan Mohan Prabhu, who's also on the call, he personally told me, let me know when you're distributing the Bhagavad Gita. I'm going to sponsor a few boxes. Every year, Prabhuji sponsors not one, few boxes actually. One Bhagavad Gita full box has 26 Bhagavad Gitas actually, and it is, I believe, 108 pounds or something for the entire box. Jolly Mataji is saying, I'm in for sharing this 15 books. So wonderful, Jolly Mataji. Thank you so much. That's, you see, this is where it will begin. 50 of you or 57 devotees on the call. If we all did 15 Bhagavad Gitas just by seeing your example, another 57 devotees are going to follow in your footstep and distribute 15 Bhagavad Gitas. And those 57 devotees will then be followed by another 57 devotees. This is how the spiritual maths worked, as I was mentioning about in relation to the Panchatattva. Saroj Mataji is saying, I am in. Another Mataji who's saying M's iPhone. Mataji, could you tell us your name? Yes, the details will come. Please watch out for the sessions of Mukunda Hari Prabhu or Vrindavan Chand Prabhu. The details will follow very soon. Shabani Mataji is saying, I'm also in. Thank you so much. This is so encouraging.
This is Mamta Prabhu.
Okay, Mamta Mataji, thank you so much. Thank you. Hare Krishna. That's very encouraging. Very, very encouraging. Thank you so much.
Hare
Umi
Krishna Prabhu.
Mataji's Prabhu, I'm in Georgia, US, and don't have a problem to take the Gita as you said. Sure, Mataji, we can either connect you in US or you can sponsor on the link and we will place it on your behalf here if you like. Dev Kishan Prabhuji is asking, how much is to purchase 15 books for distribution? Prabhuji, it will be the same price. It will be 65 pounds. And if you live within the 10-mile circle of radius, there will be a location in Stanmore and Bushy where the boxes will be available. Right now, they are available in Stanmore and you can pick it up directly from there, Prabhu, and hand in the cash, or you can make the payment on the link, which will come to you by latest by Tuesday. The link will be ready, Prabhu. So I hope that answers your question. I'm telling you, it is not a joke. Srila Prabhupada will be so pleased with this effort of yours. Rupa Mataji, you wanted to say something?
Oh, sorry. Sorry. I wanted to ask a question.
Please go
Hare
ahead,
Krishna.
Rupa Mataji. Hare Krishna, yes.
Okay, it's a question about kind of the existence in the world. Why does Srila Prabhupada use the word sense enjoyment, like the jiva soul sense enjoyment so much, and not struggle for existence? Because I find that the Western countries, obviously the developed countries, the people are more into sense enjoyment, but most of the world, the third world countries and the underdeveloped and developing countries, people are really struggling for existence. So is it because Srila Prabhupada preached in the West that he uses sense enjoyment as the main motive of the jiva souls?
Yeah, that's
Because
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, that's a very, yes, Rupa Mataji.
Yeah,
Sorry, I think
that's
there
my
is
question.
some
But
problem with
most
my
of the
connection.
people,
I think I got your question. Yes, it is a fact that because Srila Prabhupada is in the West, and he always said that the sense enjoyment is very, very prominent in the West compared to here actually. And you will see it that in the West, because people are not aware of the Vedic culture, they are more and more engrossed in sense enjoyment. But in generally, Srila Prabhupada, when he writes in the purport, he speaks about everybody, because that is our proclivity. Being conditioned by the modes of material nature, we are very much driven to enjoy this, our senses and the material world actually. So in generally, Prabhupada emphasizes on that quite a lot, because that's how we are, Mataji. We may sometimes we may think I'm quite detached from the world, but subtly there are so many things which we are still attached to actually. And sometimes it takes many, many lives, and sometimes it can happen like this when we come in the association of pure devotees and able to serve them and able to help Mahaprabhu, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will empower us to go through. But yes, to a certain degree it is correct, but now you can see India is no way behind in that. You know, it's progressing even at a more faster speed right now. I hope that
yeah.
answers your question, Mataji.
Yes, thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. So okay, I'll just read one more point here. Thank you. Thank you, Rupa Mataji. Varsha Mataji is asking, I'm in Yorkshire. How much would it cost? Mataji, it will cost, I think, approximately 10 pounds for the delivery of Bhagavad Gita of 15. So 75 pounds, it will be the total cost of delivering 15 books to you. And we can do that once the link is there, Mataji. So just watch out, give me a couple of days and we will have this all arranged for you. Bhagwati Mataji, will it be in different languages? Unfortunately, not in this month, but I am in the process of putting an order of hopefully different languages of Bhagavad Gita, which will be available for us by the in next couple of months, Mataji. If I can get it in the current situation, although it is looking difficult, but I'm going to do my best to arrange through BBT different languages, at least for December month of the main time of the marathon. So now I'm conscious we are getting late and we have to chant our Ashtakam together with Divya Gaungi Mataji. So I'm going to share my screen with all of you so we can chant Ashtakam now. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. So maybe I can have, let's see who's, anybody like to read the first 4 translations and then.
Yes, Prabhuji, I can read if you don't mind.
Yes, go ahead, Sangeeta Mataji. You read the first 3.
Yeah. Okay, sure. 1 second now. I offer my respectful obeisances to the foremost of thieves, who is a famous in Vraja as the butter thief, and who steals the gopis' clothes, and he for those who takes shelter of him, steals the scenes which have accrued over many lifetimes. I offer my respectful obeisances to the foremost of the thieves, who steals Srimati Radharani's heart, who steals the dark luster of a fresh rain cloud, and who steals all the scenes and suffering of those who take shelter of his feet. He turns his surrendered devotees into paupers and wandering homeless beggar. Alas, such a fearsome thief has never been seen or heard of in and all the 3 worlds. Thank you, Haribo.
Can I read, Prabhu? Can we read, Prabhu, or you want?
Yes, Mataji, please go ahead. Yes, please go ahead.
Mere utterance of his name purges one of a mountain of sins. Such an astonishingly wonderful thief I've never seen or heard of anywhere. O thief, having stolen my wealth, my honor, my senses, my life, and my everything, where can you run to? I have caught you with the rope of my devotion. You cut the terrible noose of Yamaraja. You severed the dreadful noose of material existence, and you slashed everyone's material bondage. But you, can I see the next part, Prabhuji? But you are unable to cut the knot fastened by your own loving devotees. Do you want me to continue?
Mataji, maybe you can give an opportunity to somebody else who would like to read the rice to.
Sorry, Prabhu.
Can I read, Prabhuji?
Yes.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Sorry.
O stealer of my everything, O thief, today I have imprisoned you in the miserable prison house of my heart, which is very fearful due to the terrible darkness of my ignorance. And therefore, there for a very long time you will remain, receiving appropriate punishment for your crimes of thievery. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Can I read, Prabhuji?
Yes, go ahead, Mataji.
O Krishna, thief of my everything, the noose of my devotion remaining forever tight, you will continue to reside in the prison house of my heart, because I will not release you for millions of aeons. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much for the wonderful translation. Divya Gaurangi Mataji, over to you. We will recite alongside with you behind the muted mic. Thank you so much for tuning in all the way from Qatar.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for the opportunity, Prabhuji. Can you hear me okay? Hare Krishna, can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
yes, Mataji.
Mataji.
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you. व्रजे प्रसीद्धं नवनीतचौरम् गोपन्गणानां च गोकुलचौरम् अनेकजन्मार्जितापापचौरम् चौराग्रगण्यं पुरुषं नमामि क्षीराधिकाय हृदयस्य चौरम् नवाम्बुदश्यामलकान्तिचौरम् पदाश्रितानां च समष्टचौरम् चौराग्रगण्यं पुरुषं नमामि अकिञ्चनीकृत्य पदाश्रितं या करोति भिक्षुं पथि गेहहीनम् केनापि याहो भिषञ्चौरयिद्र दृष्टाश्रुतो वा न जगत्त्रयेऽपि यदीयनामापि हरेति यशेषम् गिरिप्रसारानपि पापरासिम् आश्चर्यरूपो ननु चौरयिद्र दृष्टाश्रुतो वा न मया कदापि धनं च मानं च तथेन्द्रियाणि प्राणं च हित्वा मम सर्वमेव प्रलयसे कुत्र धृतोऽद्यचौरा त्वं भक्तिदाम्नांसि मया निरुद्धा क्षीणांसि घोरं यदपाशबन्धं विनत्सि भीमं भव पाशबन्धं क्षीणासि सर्वस्य समष्टबन्धं नैवात्मनो भक्तकृतं तु बन्धं मन्मानसे तामसराशिघोरे काराग्रे दुःखमये निबद्धा लभस्व हे चौरा हरे चिराय स्वचौर्यदोषोचितम् एव दण्डम् व्रजे प्रसीद्धं नवनीतचौरम् गोपन्गणानां च दुकुलचौरम् अनेकजन्मार्जितापापचौरम् चौराग्रगण्यं पुरुषं नमामि कराग्रे वस सदा हृदये मदीये मद्भक्तिपाश दृढबन्धन निश्चलसाम् त्वां कृष्ण हे प्रलयकोटि सनातरेऽपि सर्वस्य चौराहृदयान्नहि मोचयामि हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे थैंक यू हरे कृष्णा
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Divya Gaurangi Mataji. That was very beautifully sung. Thank you very much. That was really nice. So dear devotees, we will now, I have few points here. Santosh Mataji was suggesting about the sharing point. Mataji, we will mention it once we launch everything. I just wanted to get everybody excited and let everyone know that such a wonderful opportunity is going to be knocking their doors in the few days. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, there's nobody more dear to me than one who tells others about our sacred conversation, my dear Arjuna. So this is the best welfare activity we can do. Especially imagine you're going to get thousands and thousands and a million times more benefit of doing this charity compared to any other time, but in the month of Purushottam and then Kartik, of course. So let's make this word, the song of God, very, very famous across the world, because people are looking for it. They do not know they are, but we know they are. So let's try and reach out to as many people as possible in places and distribute this knowledge. And until then, thank you everybody for joining us this evening, and have a wonderful evening. Please look after yourselves, stay safe, and keep the transcendental vibration going, both of the holy name and Bhagavad Gita. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. You can all unmute yourself and say Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.